all for being here. A lot of friends, our coaching staff, they're, you have what you're going to say, but when you start to hear about just the words that were said by Matthew, and you start to think about kind of what you've been through, it kind of takes your breath away a little bit. God has truly blessed me, and I'm a lucky man. First and foremost, I want to thank my wife, Melissa, for helping me get to this point. She's my rock, my best friend. She's a strong, successful small business owner, team mom, and most importantly, a great example to our girls. I wouldn't be here without you, and our boys have thrived because of you. Lake Charles wouldn't be home without you, and if this was all gone tomorrow and I still had you, I'd still be the luckiest guy in the world. I believe it's harder when you care. The days are longer, the conversations are tougher, and the work is more challenging, but it's worth it. We're fortunate to have someone who cares leading our great university. Dr. Pickell is always working to make McNeese the first choice for anything that McNeese has to offer. But getting students, faculty, and employees on campus is just the beginning. He's constantly working to change McNeese for the better by working through all the layers to get to the person. It may not be the fastest or the easiest way, but it's the best way because it changes lives. Thank you for your help in this, and thank you for being here today. When I became the head coach of McNeese in 2013, I inherited 35 guys that I didn't recruit. The same thing happened when Bruce Hemphill became the athletic director. He inherited a new baseball coach. The same way I believed in guys like Andrew Giat and Connor Lloyd, he believed in me. When I first got the job, I didn't care what the pay was. I didn't care if it was a multi-year deal. I didn't know any better. I wanted to be the head coach of McNeese. Ignorance is truly bliss. In fact, I worked under 4 consecutive one-year contracts until Bruce broke the mold and offered me the first multi-year contract for a McNeese baseball coach. I believe we had a greater capacity to appreciate things as the years go by. I was thankful for my first head coaching job. I was thankful for my first contract, and I'm even more thankful now. In athletics, we're judged by the numbers. That's the part of the gig. But no matter how many more championships are won and facilities that are built under Bruce's watch, I'll remember the strength and toughness that he displayed through his fight with cancer and ultimate victory over it. That's the lasting impression that will be an inspiration to us all. So thank you for your unwavering support, and thank you for being here today. I thought the best thing to do when I got to Lake Charles was to put my head down and get to work. I needed to earn the respect of our players, our administration, alumni, and our community. I had a feeling they were sizing me up. They wanted to know if I was here to make things better for me or if I was here to make McNeese better. I knew where my heart was, but it didn't matter what I said. I needed to prove it. So I did what I've been taught to do. From my parents to Skip Bertman, Smoke Laval, Mark Johnson, Jeff Shake Snyder, Mitch Gaspard, J.R. Teagues, and countless others whose investment in me shaped me into the coach I am today. I made a plan. I made a plan for the players, made a plan for the coaches, recruiting, game day experience, marketing, and facilities. Player development and recruiting go hand in hand with success, so that's where we started. But facilities were a big part of the equation as well. List upon list were created until the original Dream Book was created. Inside of it were pictures of facilities, drawings, lists of improvements. If it would improve our situation, we put it in there. The only thing stopping us was money. We had less than $3,000 in our account. It was no problem because paint was cheap. So if it needed paint, it got painted. Even if it didn't need paint, it got a fresh coat anyway. The facilities we had were ours, and we wanted to make them the best they possibly could be. No trash was on the ground, the weeds were picked, and the edges were clean. If we could make it better, we did. We continued to pick off small projects to improve our current state, but the tipping point happened with the generosity of Mr. Joe Miller. The infield turf went down, and that began a wave of improvements, from a new brick wall, dugout expansion, scoreboard, backstop, chairback seating, just to name a few. Ever since then, we've padded our outfield wall, added a batter's eye, and built new restrooms at the ballpark. Not every improvement is noticed from the outside, but our players know the benefit of our nutrition room, video equipment, and training facility renovations. So how did we end up here today? A playground. I've wanted to put a playground in at our facility since day one, but I never knew where to put it. And I didn't want to put it in the wrong spot. The playground wasn't the only thing, but it was the first thing. I've had so many discussions and casual conversations with Bruce, Dr. Burkell, Richard Roden, Tanner Steins, and finally the consensus was from the people that know better was we needed to get a master plan. Quite honestly, it's been a very formidable task. I really didn't know what I was getting into, but it's been worth it. We aren't done, but this is where we're at today, and I'm excited about where this will take us. The inspiration has been and always will be our players. I want to give them everything they need to succeed. We want to create an environment for success. We've proven our system works both on and off the field. So this isn't about more, this is about better. Better facilities, better environment, better efficiency, better experience. So I'd like to take you through a couple things and be happy to answer any questions that y'all have afterwards. So what I want to take you through, so the first thing probably stands out would be the full turf field. I think that's the eye catcher with the whole thing, but there's quite a few improvements. So just to give you an idea, we'll be handing out some stuff, and this information will be made available to you, and we will show you just some ground level renderings so you can have a chance to see this. But just to kind of walk around it a little bit, every number has a corresponding improvement, and if you see one of the little home plates, kind of like right through here, that corresponds with an improvement or an area that we're going to be doing. We'll start with number one with our new entry. Kind of right here where the scoreboard is right here, tailgate lot, right through here. One thing we looked at doing was putting a brick wall, about a 5-foot brick wall, right around here, basically to round out, to bring you into the entrance of the ballpark. New gateway and procession. So we have the existing sidewalk here, existing pavilion, and so it's just a matter of making this is the entrance to Joe Miller Ballpark. Then we go to number two, which is what's called the arrival. I started to learn all these really fancy terms that architects use. I didn't know what a procession was, an arrival, any of that kind of stuff. I just knew this is where you came in, where the ticket booth was. But this is the arrival, so I'm going to use their terms and be smart. What you have here, and you'll be able to see it in some of the other renderings, this is going to be Championship Plaza right through here. There'll be concrete baseball monuments. If you've been to Minute Maid Park, surrounding the ballpark, that is an idea of what we want to do. Those things have a bit of an eye catcher to them, and it's something for the kids to get around. There'll be a improved boardwalk entertainment area. We have a current boardwalk right here. This would be an improvement area that we would make. I'm going to go ahead and track all the way around. I'm going to skip 6 right now, get into the reason we're all here, which is the playground. This is what started the whole thing. I didn't know where we wanted to put the darn thing. I just knew we wanted one. We have so many kids that come to the game, and the thing is, you don't want to sit there and tear something up that you have. We don't know what it's going to look like or exactly, but we know exactly where we're going to put it. We don't know how big it is, but it's going to be big enough. And then taking around to number 4, this would be where we talk about our new clubhouse. The new clubhouse would house our locker room, coaches' offices, nutrition room, academic study area, team room, and then an improved boardwalk and cooking club area. Currently, our cooking club is down at this pavilion right here. From a future standpoint, we want to be able to incorporate that down here to make it a little bit better for our fans and our players as well. Currently, we have a locker room, coach's office, nutrition room. We will be adding an academic study area, in conjunction with that. But right now, one thing we don't have is a team room. We actually use other facility. I mean, a different part of transition facility from our cage area and indoor area. It works. It's great. But this is the vision for kind of where we're going. And then right next to that would be a new training center. Now we have a couple of options with that, because we want to be able to move this clubhouse right here, which would then vacate the current facility that we're in. A couple options that we can do with that. What is going to be the best? Is it best to take that entire facility, gut it, and go from there, or is it to just start brand new? So I think our the first direction we'd want to go would be with the clubhouse, and then decide what we want to do with the training center. I'll bring you back to number 6. So some stadium upgrades. I know some folks here are like this. With new LED lighting, a sound system, a media deck, upgrades to the exterior finishes that you can't see in this, but you'll be able to see with some of the renderings that we have coming up. New fans to circulate air underneath, improved lighting both outside and under the grandstand. I'll go ahead and share what your number 7 is. It's called the new Stadium Edge. can't see it from here, and so it'll be a little bit better if I show you as we start to get going. So this would be the new entry, and just to give you an idea of what we're talking about. So you can see where you have, we'll show you another shot of Championship Plaza coming in here, but this just gives you an idea of the direction we're going to be going. So this is the perspective from Common Street. I was talking about the new stadium edge. This is an idea right here. What we're talking about with that has a minor league ballpark field. It is currently the same height as the current batter's eye, and one of the main things of that is a premium advertising space, and you'll be able to see the folks that are on there right now. We'll give them first choice since it's already up there, but we'll be taking. I think this will be a premium area for folks wanting to get involved in what we're doing. The next phase, just kind of taking you through here with the arrival. This is the concept of Championship Plaza, and what we're going to be doing. We have a lot of different options that we can kind of go with that, but we feel like coming into the ballpark, the opportunity to honor the 7 championship teams and regional teams that have been throughout here, and more, and have the opportunity to grow from that. I feel like your history is important, and I think the people that have gone before you and had success, I think they're important. The ability to honor them at your stadium is a great opportunity, and I think that's something we can do. This is the baseballs that we talked about. This is obviously you'll be able to see the stadium edge kind of in the whole thing. It's different pictures, but again, that kind of gives you an idea. Be able to put Joe Miller Ballpark, McNeese baseball, or whatever we decide to put, an LED lighting up there, but also kind of the premium advertising space that we have. So there's another rendering of the stadium edge and then the boardwalk, which we have currently. And so the stadium upgrades that we talked about with the LED lighting, this is the media deck that we talked about. This is something that we can use existing facilities, the existing structure that we have. This would be basically be able to come out from the press box that we have right now to be kind of an open air area, and to be able to, for all the things that you need, whether it be power, TV setup, cameras, anything like that. With the look in the future of streaming is coming, more and more for every team. Plus with instant replay and the possibility of the conference tournament coming here, those are some directions that we're going to need to go with that. The new exterior, if you notice with the new upgrades with the restrooms and the new concession stand, you can see where the brick facade, where the brick is actually going up to the top of the what is the sheet metal right now. We would do the same thing all the way around. Biggest thing is we would take the metal off, do some painting, and match this architectural style with the edge that would go out there. A lot of fancy terms that I don't know what it means. I just think it looks really cool, so I'm excited about it. And this just kind of takes you around to where the new clubhouse and playground, just to give you a visual of the direction of where we're going. And so I want to take you back to this. I feel like once you've kind of seen some pictures of that, it gives you an idea of where we're at. The idea was for it to flow, for it to make sense. We've done projects each and every year in what we're doing. This allows for things to make sense and to be able to have continuity with everything that we've done. So I'll be happy to take any questions at this time, so I'll just go ahead and open it up for questions.
Well, Justin, the first thing that comes to mind is investment cost. Do y'all have a total figure that you're working on, budget cost?
Right now, again, we're still not in negotiations, but we're still currently in the design phase for some of these. And at the end of the design phase is when the total cost comes into play. The whole idea for the master plan wasn't to try to take everything at once. It was a matter of when the opportunity came up, when the need arose from that, we could be able to pick that off. I've had folks approach me about the playground. Anytime you say something about a playground, they think about the kids and what they've done, just the opportunities at the ballpark. every single one of these things is something that's attainable, whether it's something we pick off from saving money, fundraising, whether it be somebody wants to step in and they just kind of gravitate toward a project and what we're doing. Don't have a full cost or anything like that, but it is something that allows us, with the process that we've been using as far as picking off projects, it allows us to take those steps each and every year.
Is there a timeline on when, I guess, everything would be done, or any like that, or different projects would be done in this?
The first thing that we're working on is the turf, and that is going to be the most important thing. I've had conversations with Bruce and Dr. Burkell. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens sooner than later. It won't happen for this season, but it's going to happen sooner than later. That's going to be our main focus that we're going right now. As far as the full completion of this, one thing I've learned is with master plans and communicating with other folks that kind of do this, what the end product really may not necessarily look exactly like the master plan, because you start to see technology changes, over a short period of time. You can see something that may be a little bit more efficient or better. So I mean, we're going right now as far as making some improvements in what we're doing right now.
Justin, how would you stack up, even outside of these grand plans, how would you stack up the facilities that you have now going into 2020 season against the others in the South?
I think we got everything we need. I think each ballpark has its own uniqueness. There may be some that are newer, but I think when you try to capture what's great about our fan experience, I think the home field advantage is second to none on those things. As far as facilities, there aren't very many teams that have an opportunity to have an indoor training facility like we do, that we have currently. And that's something I got a chance to inherit, that Tony Robichaux and his pinch hitters club, were able to get done. And it's been renovated a lot since that happened, 30 years ago. But that's how things start. I think once you know that you've got turf, I mean, we were one of the first ones to get the turf, and then there's been people kind of copy the same design and things that we've done. So I don't think we're taking a backseat to anybody from a facility standpoint right now.
When it comes to things that are more player specific, like the clubhouse, everything, how much, if at all, input will like the players have?
Oh, we'll give them input. I mean, they're going to see cool stuff. I mean, whether they've come from another program or something they've seen in summer ball, there won't be any stone unturned from being able to do that. We've got plenty of alumni who've been in big league locker rooms, and so we want the speaker system to be right. We want the lights that kind of flicker on and off for them. I mean, it's going to be a players area. There won't be coaches going in there. So we'll give them everything that they want for it to be first class and fun for them.
Coach, it doesn't really appear that working on these one-year contracts have really held back recruiting, and it really hasn't been a headwind, if you will. Having it multi-year, does that come into play in regards to when you go out and talk to top-level recruits, that the stability of the program under your reign is there? Has that been a part of the discussion, be it 1 year, 2 year, or 3 years?
I think the question comes up with every recruit, and I think it's a good question. I tell every parent that usually asks it. It's usually a parent, not a kid, because they have their best interests at heart. And I understand that, and I think in athletics there's always a lot of movement. And so I think it's a fair question. I think it's a good question that I really want to answer. Truth be told, I just signed a 10-year contract. That this is home for me, and there are so many things that I can get in for this being home, and that's why I talked about earlier. I could tell you a lot of things, but I think the goal for me was to prove it, and I think I have to go out and prove it every year, because the thing is, eventually somebody's going to be right. Oh, I knew he was going to leave. Well, I mean, like, unless Jesus comes back, I'm not going to be the last head coach at McNeese. Somebody's going to get tired of me or something like that. I mean, that's just the way it is, whether I'm 70 or whatever it is. But you know, I think, but people want to know that, you know, for their timeline and what they're doing. But all I can do is give my word, and I tell them the same thing I just told you. If you know, from an investment standpoint, we wouldn't be taking all this time to do that if this wasn't something I wanted to do. You know, you just don't fix up a house to sell it. You know, you fix up a house to live in, and this is home.
Kind of unrelated to this, but within the scope of college baseball, you know, there's been talk about adding more scholarships, and also I know something you're very passionate about is the extra assistant coach being a full-time job. I saw some stuff about it, but I just want to ask, you know, what the updates have been on that, and just, you know, still your point of view on it.
From what ended up happening, it had a chance to go to a revote. It did not go to a revote. Bottom line, they screwed it up. I mean, I think we had the wrong people and the wrong that were in charge of the opportunity to do that. So they screwed up, and so that's really disappointing. But it'll go to a revote. It'll get proposed again, and they'll try to answer all the questions. But it's going to happen. It doesn't help people like Cass Hargis right now, who's our new volunteer coach. It doesn't help people that are doing that right now. It's gonna benefit people down the road, just like facilities will. These facilities and these improvements aren't going to help the seniors that are for this year. It's going to help the people coming down the line. But no, that one's kind of aggravating on that. But as far as the scholarships, I think there's a bigger problem, you know, that needs to be addressed with that, because I think baseball has become a very middle class sport, and upper middle class, and not very colorful. And I think that has to do a lot to do with scholarships and what they're doing. And so, but it goes down to all the layers. So that's going to happen. It's just a matter of a timing standpoint. I think the legislation about the seniors being on scholarship, if they've been on scholarship aid, to not count against that. I think that's being proposed by some of the Power 5 schools. I think that's a step in the right direction. I think it's going to be good when it happens. Again, thank y'all for being here. I know Bruce said he'll be around here. We'll be around. I can flip through the slides or whatever. We're going to be making these things available to you guys. But if y'all have any questions, anything, we'll be around. And again, thank y'all for being here.